where are you in terms of injuries and availability for this game then?
So, as you just seen in the game, you saw Luke Morgan pull up with a hamstring injury. He won't be available. Matty Prothero still has not recovered from his, and Gareth Thomas is still has picked up a medial ligament strain. So those are the three that are not new news, but confirmations that I'm sure that you were looking for. The rest, everyone's okay, I believe. Owen Watkins returned to us, so we get to use him in some capacity this weekend, which is a welcome boost in a difficult period for all, international window.
Yeah, how about how difficult is it to sort of reintegrate Owen back into the squad and teach him anything new that you've developed in the last few weeks?
Well, I mean, obviously, when he's with Wales and any international programme, you want him to be solely focused on that. But I touch base with the Ospreys players on a frequent or regular basis when they're in camp, just to check on their general well-being, and if there's anything they want to discuss about what they've seen on the pitch, I'll leave it to them really. But that's the thing around what we do. We need to make sure that we've got adaptability around what we're trying to do, and that's why we try and develop a principle-based game rather than a specific-based game. So the principles don't really change, and just the little nuances and details do.
Any of those injuries that you mentioned particularly long-term, or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, again, these are something I obviously know a lot, being a fast twitch athlete myself. These hamstring boys, I know where my hamstring is, that's about it. So no, we'll wait to see obviously how they respond, and you've got to be careful. We're a long time into a pretty intense programme by now. So yeah, it depends on how they react to what goes on really.
Yeah, I think I had a hamstring once. Not sure if it was a muscle or not. What about Luke Morgan? Is obviously involved in the Sevens preparations as well. How does that impact you?
Well, obviously at the moment it's a virtual programme for them. So until we get past either an injury update that takes him past their cut-off date and what they're finalising their squads, obviously we're hopeful to get him back and involved with that, because obviously it's a great opportunity for him. Reflects well on him as a player, but also us as an organisation, and it's great to celebrate someone local with doing something really cool, and I think that's pretty cool.
Looking forward to the Dragons match then. If you win, you'll be virtually sure of third place. How important is that to get that in the bag with your last home match?
Well, I mean, again, to be fair, if we perform well enough, consistently enough, the table takes care of itself, and everyone's thrust upon me since I've been here about the starting point of where we've come from. So if you look at where we've, if you like the baseline of where we've come from to where we are now, the progress has been good. So I'm just looking for greater progress each week, like every coach you talk to would want. And if we perform exceptionally well and get a good result, then that takes a step closer to Champions Cup rugby, which is obviously important for the group, but important for the supporters, and that would be a good mark of progress for sure.
Would it be a relief to you though to have that sealed before you embark on 2 away games to finish off against Leinster and Glasgow?
Well, we won a number of successive away games, so everyone talks about the effective crowd, whether that's part of that, but we've earned the right to win away from home. So irrespective of who's in front of us, home or away, our expectations on ourselves are strong and consistent, and we need to do that whether we're home or away. So I think that I'm confident we'll perform well, as I am every week. Sometimes I'm delighted with that comment, sometimes I'm greatly disappointed, but that's the part of the journey that we're on.
And a fourth different home, in inverted commas, venue for you this season, including Parker Scarlets, which maybe doesn't count. how do you go about adapting to those different surfaces and venues?
I think, the last time I looked, the 5 metre line was still 5 metres and the 22 was still 22 metres away from the goal line. So from that point of view, it doesn't really affect, obviously, that. The little nuances around, wind directions and the bits and pieces. If we want to be the team we want to be, we have to be able to adapt to the things on the day, let alone the stadium differences and the pitch differences. We train in different areas. We train at St Helens, we train at Landarcy, we train indoors, we train outdoors. So those things aren't so much of a shock for us, for a modern team. And what some people could see as a limiter, I see as an opportunity for us to develop to be more resilient and more robust.
At the Dragons over Christmas, what sort of threats might they bring to the Brewery Field then?
Well, I think that obviously, if that game is anything to go by, they were very physical. So against the Dragons, you've certainly got to, match their physicality. They're coming back off a disappointing result last week, so there's always going to be a reaction. They're obviously going to be well coached and determined to put that right. So you're going to get a team that's very, very committed and going to try and get you into an arm wrestle, a physical arm wrestle, and they're very, very good at that. So we need to make sure that we're up for that challenge.
And a word looking a bit further forward to next season, if you can think that far, given all the
what day is it?
Given all the uncertainties surrounding this season, I mean, with Alan Wynne-Jones obviously back to...
He's fit and he's playing. Oh, sorry, I thought you were asking me another Alan Wynne-Jones injury question, the one that I get on a weekly basis.
No, not an injury question.
Okay, right.
Question. Where are you with his contract for next season?
Where are we with his contract? We said that we would not discuss that publicly. The truth is, it's above my pay grade. No, of course, it's something that we're obviously delighted to entertain with Al. He wants to get Six Nations out of the way. I'm sure those conversations are being had centrally with Wales, and we're obviously inputting into that. So we'll see after the Six Nations where that goes.
But presumably you're happy to have him there for limited amounts of time rather than not at all, given the need to sort of manage his playing time in the next year or two.
If you were me, what would you answer?
Yeah, but people aren't going to listen to me saying it, so they want you to say it.
Of course they do. No, Al's a quality player. You saw coming back off, there's very few players that can come back off, a medium-term injury, come back ahead of time and perform like they've done at an international level. So, he's a quality player, a quality individual, and we're very proud to see him perform well for Wales, as well as he does, and he's desperate to play some more for the Ospreys as well. So, it's a win-win for everybody.
It's about hamstrings, and you've told us about kicking nuances. I mean, what's getting into you, fella?
Well, I'm just trying to reach out to the new public, Rob, new public.
Just come back to Alan Wynne-Jones. Do you think that last weekend put to bed any debate about who's going to captain the Lions?
Ooh, it's a good headline that you want from me. I like that one.
I mean,
do you want the straight bat? Do you want the straight bet answer, or do you want the real? No, I think that.
No, you must have a feeling or a view.
Yeah, look, I've not really thought about it. To be fair, I didn't sort of sit down here. I was preparing to talk for the Dragons, and how naive of me to be thinking about the game that I was actually preparing for.
We'll get on to that.
Yeah, okay, mate. I think that when you. And probably the last week's game was a good example. In the pressurised environment of international rugby and the Lions, wherever it may be, you want people that can deliver, at different levels. So from a leadership point of view, from a leading by example point of view, from a performance point of view, and Alan Wynne-Jones is someone that delivers on all of those fronts consistently and has done for a very long time. So coaches like certainty. So you'll look across that group and go, okay, how many people can do that? There's probably, 3 to 5 of them that will probably put their hat in the ring for that. So he's in that list. So whether he's picked or not, but he certainly has the characteristics that you'd expect a leader of the Lions to have.
He is a remarkable individual, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it just Matt Dawson came up with a great moment after the game. He said Louis Rees-Zammit chases the ball and nearly scores, and the first person up there was Alan Wynne-Jones. And what did he do? He turned to his troops, he waved his arms, he said, "We don't move from here," and they go and score the try that completely wins the game. And it just sets an example.
On and off the pitch. I'm sure you've all seen the photos of him clearing away the trophy stand and bits and pieces, post game and whatever. He's, and he's exactly the same here. It's not just something for Wales. He's very proud to represent his country. He's very proud of this region, and he demonstrates that with those moments on and off the pitch.
Coming back to more domestic things, then, an announcement of a new chief executive at the Ospreys. You've had another guy come in to look after the academy or whatever. You've had a new investor. You've come in. All the pieces in the jigsaw for a brighter future seem to be falling into place at the Ospreys.
Yeah, I think obviously when I came here, and obviously the part of it was obviously trying to, get the on-field performance and the on-field right. But in order to be a consistently high-performing team, you need both the support side of it and the ambition side of it. And I think that seeing the performance director Corin Palmer, Nick Garcia as the CEO, as improvements on the infrastructure and the intent and the ambition of the organisation, obviously with the investment of a new owner and Y11 and James coming on board, I think that it shows the intent of the region to move forward, and I think that allows the players to have some security around that, some consistency around that internally, and as a fans and regions, I think it also shows intent that maybe they are learning the lessons from the past and they are looking to move forward, and they're not just looking forward to move forward slowly, but also try and get force that by getting very competent people in the organisation. And I think that those are the things that's certainly excited the group. I've been obviously involved with that and part of that. So yeah, it's exciting for us all.
You feel pretty comfortable, or you look pretty comfortable. You must feel pretty comfortable where you are at the moment, and the development of the team has been very, very pleasing.
Yeah, I think that we've certainly improved from where we are. We need to make sure that we continually strive for that. That's the first thing. So we've done as much culturally as we have on the pitch, and I think that's why the consistency that you see from us, although not perfect, but in relation to effort and attitude, has been probably the biggest thing that we've seen happen, which shows that the players are buying in, people off the field are buying in, and we have a very clear understanding of what the team we're trying to be and where we're needing to go. So I came here with an identity and a direction, and we know that everything that we do lends itself towards that. So yeah, I think that's where you see the improvement in the consistency. We're still got a small squad that in international windows gets tested, and that over the long term we'll be trying to get talent into that bottom of the pyramid as well as the top, and let ourselves grow and develop into a more robust team and organisation. And I think that's sort of the best way I can sort of describe it and encapsulate it.
I guess the key thing for you this season has been blooding some of those youngsters, because you're not going to have a big checkbook to spend in the summer yet. No,
I don't think the state of the nation, in relation to the financial world is certainly difficult, and the more you grow your own, the more cost effective you are. But also, as I've always said, in any organisation wherever I've been, it's always been part of what I've wanted to do. I come from that background. I think that growing your own brings an emotional connection to the people and the region, which is really strong, and you can't coach that. And also then people will spend longer in your organisation and grow up the Ospreys way. And I think that that deep-rooted understanding bodes well for the culture side, but also the way that you're trying to play.